to see that justice is done, that people are held accountable. I have my own forensic accounting firm. I get paid well to do the work that I do for both criminal cases and civil cases. I work on the prosecutor side as well as the defense side. But my time as a cold case is voluntary. You know, I've put in 3 days in the last week on this new fraud case that I brought in. So I feel very much that it's my responsibility to do as much as I can, and they have been kind enough to let me work on it, even though it's a current case and it's not technically in the cold case area. But you know, I do that voluntarily, and I love it. I love being there. I love being part of law enforcement. The other thing is you have to make sure that you bring the skills and the background and the education and the things that the law enforcement agency you want to work for is looking for. So, are they looking for people with accounting degrees or law degrees or criminal justice? It depends on where at in the system that you know, state, local, or federal. You know, with the FBI, you have to have a degree from an accredited college. You have to have 3 years experience in that degree before you can even apply. So I wanted to be in the FBI. That was my goal. And so I got into accounting, not because I like debits and credits, but because I wanted to be in the FBI. So I ended up getting an accounting degree from Alabama and working as a CPA, because that's what I was told by the FBI. We want people that know how to read books and records, how to interpret them, how to investigate them, and being in public accounting is one of the best ways to do that. So I spent several years as a CPA working in public accounting, trying to make myself more marketable for the FBI. In fact, I would call them on occasion and say, okay, I've got, in one case, the company I was working for shut down, so I had 2 job opportunities, and I called the FBI and said, which one would be better? I mean, I know you can't give me any specifics, but you know, what would you suggest? So those are important. Make sure that you have the right qualifications. Make sure you have the right mindset. You know, law enforcement isn't about being badge heavy. It's not about, you know, towering over people or telling them what to do. It's about helping people. It's about solving mysteries. It's about holding people accountable. It's about treating everybody with dignity and respect. I've arrested some really, really bad people, and we treated them with dignity and respect. And I even, 2 of them were the Briley brothers. They killed 11 people between them and cut a baby out of a woman's womb after they killed her because she was pregnant. And they were on death row in Virginia, escaped, and our SWAT team in Philadelphia, and I was part of that, we arrested them. And that's the closest I ever came to shooting anybody was Linwood that night, because I was standing over with the shotgun, and he started bringing his hands down. I explained to him what was going to happen if he continued to do that. And thankfully, he looked at me and realized that I was scared enough I was going to do it, so he put his hands back out. But, you know, when they were arrested, one of the things that they said to us was, and I'll never forget this, they said, well, you guys have treated us really nice. You know, most of the time they beat the stuffings out of us when we get arrested. But they said, we appreciate that. And that they were, you know, they were good prisoners. They cooperated. They went back to Virginia, back to death row, and both of them were electrocuted. But treating people right is the most important thing. So, you know, be in law enforcement for the right reason. Come with the right background, the right experience, have the right attitude about helping people, and you have to love the job. You know, I would suggest that you get as much experience as you can with people. You know, in perfect example, the FBI has an interview process. We lost 50% on the background. We lost another 20% on the interview process because they couldn't articulate what they had done in their life that made them a viable person for hiring by the FBI. And the one that I use that was given to me by one of the interviewers is the first person comes in, they say, give us a situation where you were, it was a difficult situation, what did you do and what was the outcome? And so this person says, well, we had hired a clown to come for my 3-year-old son's birthday, and the clown didn't show up, and so I had to, you know, put on some, you know, funny clothes and pretend to be the clown, and unfortunately the clown showed up at the very end, and I was able to, you know, go back and help and get everything else done, and my son had a great birthday. That was the result. And they said, fine. So the next person comes in, they get to that same question. Give us a situation where you're under a lot of stress, it was difficult, what you do, and what was the outcome? Well, I was a captain in Desert Storm. My men were out on a a mission. We got pinned down by machine gun fire. One of my men was hit. I was able to get him to shelter to the side. We called in an airstrike. We took out one of the two snipers, and a jet came in and took out the second sniper, and I was able to get all my men back to camp alive that night. Now let's see. We got the clown at the birthday party, and we got a firefight in Fallujah or wherever it happened to be. But it doesn't have to be that extreme. It could be, you know, I worked as a paramedic on an ambulance. I saw life and death situations, and the one in particular where this person was dying, and I was able to, you know, keep pressure on the wound, and they survived and were able to get to the hospital. Stuff like that. If you get your education and you don't do anything with it, and you don't have contact with people, and you don't get involved in things in the community, then when they ask you those questions about, give us a situation where you demonstrated leadership. What about communication, handling difficult situations, where you were tempted to do something wrong? What was it? What did you do? And you don't want to say, well, someone told me that if I didn't falsify this document for the firm, that I'd be fired, so I falsified it. You can't, that's like, I didn't really want this job, but I thought I'd say that anyway. So, keeping your record straight, your background straight, not getting involved with people. I was at a party one time, and as a college student, and I smelled marijuana, and my beautiful bride of 47 years, was with me, and I turned to her and I said, I smell marijuana. She says, I do too. I said, we're leaving. You don't want to have anything on your record that's going to be an impediment to you being hired, because they will go back and ask every place that you've lived. They'll do a neighborhood. The Shelby County Sheriff's Office interview my neighbors here in this neighborhood about me, to make sure, doing a background, to make sure that I'm the kind of person that I'm not doing anything inappropriate, and that they check your education, they talk to your instructors. So keep your nose clean. Make sure that you keep your background clean, so that they can't come up and say, well, what about the time that you did so-and-so, because you didn't tell us about it. That's the worst thing that can happen. So all of those things are things that you need to have in the back of your mind when you're getting ready to be in law enforcement, and to make yourself completely prepared.
Awesome. Well, Alton Sizemore, thank you so much for sharing your experience with cold case homicide investigation and investigation with the FBI. Again, thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure. Good luck to everybody.